There are moments in life when no one asks for your resume, no one measures the balance in your bank account, and no one waits for you to explain who you are. Instead, they notice something quieter. They notice the way you enter a room without demanding it belong to you. They notice whether your eyes carry curiosity or judgment, whether your silence feels peaceful or uncomfortable, whether your confidence comes from knowing yourself or from trying to convince everyone else that you matter. The world has always spoken a secret language. It is a language without letters, without grammar, without sound. It is written in the way you listen when someone else speaks. It is written in how you treat people who cannot advance your ambitions. It is written in the patience you keep when life refuses to move at your preferred pace. Every ordinary moment becomes a sentence, and every repeated habit becomes a story that others learn to read long before you ever introduce yourself. Many people believe class begins with luxury. They imagine polished shoes, expensive watches, elegant dinners, or carefully practiced etiquette. But those things can be purchased. Character cannot, grace cannot, wisdom cannot. The people who have spent generations surrounded by influence often recognize something far more valuable than appearances. They notice the habits that reveal discipline, restraint, kindness, and self-possession. They understand that the smallest behaviors often predict the largest outcomes, because habits are simply values made visible. Think about the people whose presence immediately changes the atmosphere of a room. They rarely speak the loudest. They rarely compete for attention. Yet there is something unmistakable about them. Their calm steadies others. Their words carry weight because they do not waste them. Their respect for others never feels performative, and their confidence does not require applause. They remind us that dignity is not something you wear. It is something you practice until it becomes impossible to separate from who you are. The truth is, every day offers dozens of quiet opportunities to reveal ourselves. Most of us overlook them because they seem too ordinary to matter. We believe transformation arrives through dramatic moments, while life keeps whispering that it is built through ordinary choices repeated faithfully. A single conversation, a moment of patience, a thoughtful response instead of a careless reaction. These are the invisible threads that weave a reputation stronger than any title or possession. Today, we will uncover 10 small behaviors that people of lasting influence notice almost instantly, not because they are searching for flaws, but because they understand that greatness often hides inside the smallest details. And as you listen, you may discover that the habits capable of changing how the world sees you are already within your reach, waiting only for your attention. The way a person enters a room often says more than the words they eventually speak. Before introductions are made, before opinions are exchanged, people quietly observe. They notice whether someone walks with calm assurance or restless urgency, whether they acknowledge the presence of others, or move through the space as though no one else exists. These moments may seem insignificant, yet they reveal something deeper than confidence. They reveal a person's relationship with themselves. Those who possess genuine self-respect do not need to announce it. It settles naturally into their posture, their pace, and the quiet certainty with which they carry their presence. There is a remarkable difference between seeking attention and deserving it. Many spend enormous energy trying to be noticed, believing that louder voices, grander gestures, or stronger opinions will secure admiration. Yet true presence has little to do with volume. It is rooted in awareness. A person who understands their own worth does not rush to fill every silence. They know that silence is not emptiness, but space where thought, observation, and understanding can grow. They listen before they respond because they recognize that wisdom often arrives after patience. The quiet language of presence is also expressed through respect. It is reflected in the simple habit of making others feel seen without expecting anything in return. Looking someone in the eye while they speak, offering genuine attention instead of divided focus, and responding with thoughtfulness rather than impatience communicate something invaluable. These behaviors suggest that a person is secure enough not to compete for every moment of importance. They reveal confidence that does not depend upon dominating conversations or proving superiority. Emotional steadiness is another part of this silent language. Every life brings inconvenience, misunderstanding, and unexpected disappointment. Yet people who carry themselves with dignity understand that every reaction becomes part of their character. They choose restraint over impulse, reflection over immediate judgment, and composure over unnecessary conflict. Their calm is not evidence of a life without challenges, but proof that they have learned not to let every circumstance dictate their spirit. Presence is equally shaped by consistency. Anyone can appear gracious for a single afternoon, but genuine character is revealed through repeated actions. The individual who treats every person with equal courtesy, whether speaking to a leader or a stranger, demonstrates an understanding that respect is not a reward reserved for status. It is a reflection of personal values. This consistency builds quiet trust because people learn that kindness is not being performed for approval, but practiced as a way of living. There is also humility within true presence. Humility does not diminish one's value. It allows value to exist without constant advertisement. A humble person remains open to learning, willing to admit mistakes, and comfortable allowing others to shine. Instead of measuring every interaction by what can be gained, they approach people with curiosity and sincerity. This openness creates connections that cannot be manufactured through charm alone. The most memorable individuals often leave behind something impossible to describe in simple words. Long after conversations end, people remember how they felt in their company. They remember feeling respected instead of judged, heard instead of dismissed, encouraged instead of diminished. That invisible impression becomes more enduring than appearance, achievement, or wealth, because presence is not created through possessions, but through countless quiet choices that reveal the strength, discipline, and generosity of the human spirit. Every ordinary action carries a quiet message about the person performing it. Long before accomplishments are known or titles are mentioned, daily behaviors begin to reveal values, priorities, and habits of thought. The smallest choices often become the clearest reflection of character because they are made without preparation or performance. While grand achievements may capture attention, it is the unnoticed moments that reveal who someone truly is when there is nothing to gain and no audience to impress. Consider the simple act of keeping a promise. Many promises seem too small to matter. A phone call returned, an arrival on time, a commitment honored even when it becomes inconvenient. Yet these ordinary actions gradually build a reputation stronger than any carefully crafted image. People learn whether your words can be trusted because consistency leaves a deeper impression than occasional excellence. Reliability is rarely celebrated in dramatic ways, but it quietly earns respect that lasts far longer than temporary admiration. Another everyday behavior that reveals character is the way a person responds to frustration. Life constantly presents delays, disagreements, misunderstandings, and disappointments. These moments strip away rehearsed politeness and expose emotional habits. Someone who chooses patience over irritation demonstrates inner discipline. Someone who can disagree without becoming disrespectful shows maturity that cannot be purchased or imitated. The ability to remain composed under pressure reflects strength because it requires mastery over oneself rather than control over others. Generosity also appears in ordinary moments. It is found in offering sincere encouragement without jealousy, sharing knowledge without fear of being replaced, and celebrating another person's success without comparing it to one's own journey. These behaviors reveal an abundance mindset. People who believe there is enough opportunity for everyone do not feel threatened by another person's growth. Instead, they recognize that kindness strengthens relationships and creates an atmosphere where trust can flourish. Listening is another behavior that quietly speaks volumes. In a world where many people are waiting for their turn to speak, genuine listening has become increasingly rare. A person who listens carefully communicates respect without needing elaborate words. They allow others to finish their thoughts, ask meaningful questions, and respond with understanding rather than assumption. This simple habit demonstrates humility because it acknowledges that every person has experiences worth hearing and lessons worth sharing. Attention to detail also reflects character. Caring for shared spaces, expressing gratitude for small acts of kindness, and taking responsibility for mistakes without shifting blame all reveal integrity. These behaviors may seem insignificant in isolation, yet together they create a portrait of someone who values accountability. Such individuals understand that excellence is not reserved for important occasions. It is practiced in everyday routines until it becomes second nature. One of the strongest indicators of character is how someone treats those from whom they expect nothing in return. Courtesy toward service workers, patience with strangers, kindness toward children, and respect for the elderly demonstrate values that extend beyond personal ambition. These interactions cannot easily be explained away as strategic because they often occur without recognition. They reveal whether compassion is conditional or deeply rooted. Character is never built in extraordinary moments alone. It is shaped through repeated choices that become habits, and habits eventually become identity. Every greeting, every response to inconvenience, every expression of gratitude, and every decision to act with honesty contributes to the story a person tells without speaking. Those who understand this truth realize that greatness is not hidden inside rare opportunities, but woven into the countless ordinary moments that fill every single day with quiet opportunities to become someone worthy of lasting trust and genuine respect. The world often confuses wealth with worth because both can appear impressive from a distance. Expensive possessions, prestigious addresses, and exclusive experiences are easy to notice, yet they reveal very little about the person behind them. Material success may demonstrate opportunity, discipline, or good fortune, but it does not automatically reveal kindness, wisdom, integrity, or compassion. True class begins where appearances end. It is found in the qualities that remain when status symbols are removed, when recognition fades, and when no one is watching. A person of genuine worth understands that dignity cannot be purchased. It is cultivated through daily choices that reflect honesty, humility, and self-respect. These qualities cannot be inherited through family wealth or acquired through luxury. They are earned through consistent behavior. Someone who keeps their word even when it is difficult possesses a richness that no financial investment can match. Trust is a form of wealth that grows over time, and unlike money, it cannot be borrowed when it has never been earned. One of the clearest distinctions between wealth and worth is found in the relationship with power. Those who rely solely on status often seek to remind others of their importance. They measure success by comparison and validation, believing that influence must constantly be displayed. In contrast, a person of true class rarely feels the need to prove their significance. They recognize that confidence rooted in character is far more enduring than confidence built upon admiration. Their strength is quiet because it does not depend on applause or approval. Emotional control also reflects lasting worth. Life inevitably presents moments of criticism, disappointment, and conflict. A person who reacts with anger to every challenge reveals insecurity rather than strength. Real class is demonstrated through restraint, thoughtful responses, and the ability to remain composed when emotions could easily take control. This does not mean suppressing feelings or pretending to be unaffected. It means choosing actions that reflect wisdom rather than impulse. Such discipline protects relationships, strengthens judgment, and inspires confidence in those around them. Generosity further separates worth from wealth. Financial resources may enable someone to give, but genuine generosity begins in the heart. It is expressed through encouragement, forgiveness, patience, and the willingness to share time and attention with others. A person of true class understands that making another individual feel valued is often more meaningful than offering expensive gifts. They know that kindness multiplies when it is offered sincerely and without expectation of reward. Humility is another hallmark of inner worth. The most admirable individuals continue learning regardless of their accomplishments. They ask questions, admit mistakes, and remain open to perspectives different from their own. Instead of believing they have nothing left to learn, they approach every experience with curiosity. This willingness to grow reflects confidence rather than weakness, because secure people understand that learning enhances dignity instead of diminishing it. Ultimately, the difference between wealth and worth is revealed through legacy. Money can build impressive buildings, but character builds enduring trust. Possessions may attract attention, but integrity earns lasting respect. Titles can open doors, yet kindness determines what happens once those doors are crossed. The people remembered with the greatest admiration are rarely those who accumulated the most possessions. They are those whose lives reflected compassion, wisdom, fairness, and quiet strength, leaving behind an influence that continued to shape others long after every symbol of material success had lost its shine. The people who move through life with the greatest wisdom are often the ones who spend more time observing than announcing themselves. They understand that every environment speaks a silent language, one that reveals far more than words alone ever could. A thoughtful observer notices how people respond under pressure, how they treat those with less influence, and whether their actions remain consistent when no reward is expected. These quiet details create a picture of character that no polished speech or impressive appearance can fully conceal. Observation begins with attention, and attention is one of the rarest forms of respect. In a world filled with distractions, many people hear without listening and look without truly seeing. They rush to conclusions before gathering understanding. Those who cultivate awareness choose a different path. They slow down enough to notice expressions, pauses, gestures, and changes in tone. These subtle signals often communicate emotions that words fail to express. A forced smile may hide disappointment, while a calm silence may reflect confidence rather than uncertainty. Learning to recognize these silent messages allows a person to respond with greater wisdom and compassion. Awareness is equally important when understanding social situations. Every gathering, workplace, and community has unspoken expectations built on mutual respect. People who recognize these invisible patterns adapt without abandoning their authenticity. They know when to speak and when to listen, when to lead and when to support, and when silence carries greater strength than another opinion. This sensitivity is not about pretending to be someone else. It is about understanding that wisdom includes knowing how one's behavior affects the people around them. Observation also protects us from deception. Not everyone reveals their intentions openly. Some individuals speak kindly while acting selfishly, while others appear reserved yet possess extraordinary generosity. Those who rely only on words are often disappointed because words can be rehearsed. Actions, however, have a remarkable way of revealing truth over time. A person who repeatedly breaks promises, avoids responsibility, or shows respect only when it is convenient eventually uncovers their true priorities. Paying attention to patterns rather than isolated moments leads to better judgment and healthier relationships. Self-awareness is another essential part of this practice. It is easy to study the habits of others while ignoring our own, yet meaningful growth begins by observing ourselves with honesty. The way we react to criticism, handle success, respond to inconvenience, or treat people during ordinary moments reveals areas where character can deepen. Instead of becoming defensive, self-aware individuals welcome these discoveries because they understand that recognizing weakness is the first step toward strengthening it. There is great wisdom in learning before speaking. Those who carefully observe often ask better questions because they have taken time to understand the situation rather than assuming they already know the answer. Their conversations become richer, their decisions more thoughtful, and their influence more meaningful. People naturally trust those who make them feel understood because genuine attention communicates respect more powerfully than quick advice ever can. The ability to observe quietly also nurtures patience. Rather than reacting to first impressions, wise individuals allow time to reveal what is hidden beneath the surface. They recognize that character unfolds gradually through repeated choices, not isolated events. This patience prevents unnecessary conflict, reduces misunderstanding, and creates room for empathy. Over time, awareness becomes more than a skill. It becomes a way of living that transforms ordinary encounters into opportunities for deeper understanding, stronger relationships, wiser decisions, and a more compassionate view of the people who share our journey. Respect is one of the few things in life that cannot be demanded, purchased, or forced into existence. It is earned quietly through consistent actions that reveal integrity, emotional maturity, and genuine concern for others. Many people spend years chasing admiration by trying to appear impressive. Yet lasting respect comes from becoming the kind of person whose character speaks before their achievements do. Those who command respect naturally are not focused on convincing the world of their value. They invest their energy in living according to principles that remain steady regardless of recognition or reward. The journey toward becoming such a person begins with self-respect. When individuals understand their own worth, they no longer feel compelled to seek constant validation from every opinion or every passing trend. They make decisions guided by values instead of temporary approval. This quiet confidence allows them to remain authentic even when it would be easier to imitate others. Authenticity carries a remarkable strength because people instinctively recognize the difference between someone who is comfortable in their own identity and someone who constantly adjusts their behavior to gain acceptance. Discipline is another timeless habit that earns respect without asking for it. Small commitments honored consistently create a life that others learn to trust. Arriving on time, completing responsibilities with care, speaking truthfully even when honesty is inconvenient, and following through on promises demonstrate reliability. These habits may seem ordinary, yet they communicate dependability in a world where many abandon commitments when circumstances become difficult. Over time, discipline transforms reputation into something solid. Making a person's word as valuable as a signed agreement, kindness also possesses extraordinary power when it is practiced without expectation. Genuine kindness is not weakness, nor is it an attempt to gain favor. It reflects inner strength because it requires choosing compassion, even when impatience or resentment would be easier. Respect grows around those who make others feel valued through thoughtful attention, encouragement, and fairness. People remember how they are treated far longer than they remember impressive speeches or outward displays of success. A simple act of generosity offered sincerely can leave a lasting impression that influences relationships for years. Humility strengthens respect because it allows growth to continue. Those who believe they have already mastered everything stop learning, while those who remain teachable continue expanding their understanding. Humble individuals ask questions, admit mistakes, and welcome correction without allowing pride to become an obstacle. This openness demonstrates confidence rather than insecurity, because secure people understand that improvement is a lifelong pursuit. Their willingness to learn inspires admiration, as it reflects wisdom instead of arrogance. Emotional balance is equally essential. Every person encounters criticism, disappointment, and moments of misunderstanding. Those who command respect naturally do not allow every challenge to dictate their behavior. They pause before reacting, choose words carefully, and remain composed during conflict. Their calm presence reassures others because it shows that their character is not controlled by changing circumstances. This steadiness creates trust, making people feel safe in their company and confident in their judgment. Perhaps the greatest habit of all is treating every individual with equal dignity. Whether speaking with someone of great influence or someone whose contributions often go unnoticed, respectful people remain consistent in their courtesy. They recognize that human worth is not measured by status, wealth, or recognition, but by the shared dignity every person carries. This unwavering respect reflects a heart that values character above appearances, allowing influence to grow naturally through sincerity, consistency, compassion, humility, discipline, and the quiet example of a life lived with unwavering integrity and purpose.